The ubiquitous device, a constant companion. Our smartphones have become extensions of ourselves. They are not just tools, they are integral parts of our daily lives, shaping how we interact with the world and each other. We carry them everywhere, constantly checking for notifications, messages, and updates. It's almost as if we're tethered to these devices, unable to disconnect even for a moment. They are the first thing we reach for in the morning and the last thing we see at night. This ritual has become so ingrained in our routines that it feels almost natural, yet it subtly dictates the rhythm of our days. This constant connectivity, while offering convenience and connection, comes at a cost: our attention. The more we engage with our phones, the more fragmented our attention becomes. The average person spends hours each day glued to their phone screens. This time adds up, often at the expense of face-to-face interactions and meaningful activities. Whether scrolling through social media, browsing the web, or playing games, our phones offer a constant stream of stimulation. This endless flow of information and entertainment keeps us hooked, always seeking the next update or notification. This constant stimulation, however, can be detrimental to our cognitive abilities and overall well-being. It can lead to mental fatigue, stress, and even anxiety as our brains struggle to process the never-ending influx of data. The very design of our phones, with their notifications and alerts, is intended to capture our attention and keep us engaged. These features are meticulously crafted to trigger our brain's reward system, making it hard to resist checking our phones. This constant barrage of information fragments our focus, making it challenging to concentrate on tasks that require sustained attention. Our productivity suffers as we find ourselves constantly interrupted by the lure of our phones. In a world saturated with information, our ability to focus is more valuable than ever. Cultivating the skill to concentrate deeply on a single task can set us apart in both our personal and professional lives. By understanding the impact of phones on our brains and our lives, we can begin to reclaim our attention and live more intentional, fulfilling lives. It starts with small steps like setting boundaries for phone use and prioritizing activities that nourish our minds and souls. Imagine the possibilities when we are fully present in the moment, engaging deeply with the world around us. By taking control of our phone usage, we can rediscover the joy of real-life connections and experiences. Mindfulness and intentional living can help us break free from the constant pull of our devices. By being aware of our habits and making conscious choices, we can create a healthier relationship with technology. Ultimately, our phones should serve us, not the other way around. By reclaiming our attention, we can lead more balanced, meaningful lives, enriched by genuine connections and mindful presence. The distraction engine: how phones hijack our brains. In today's digital age, our smartphones have become an integral part of our daily lives. But have you ever wondered how these devices are affecting our brains? Our brains are wired to seek novelty and reward. This natural inclination has been hijacked by the constant stream of information and notifications from our phones. Every notification, message, or like triggers a release of dopamine, a neurotransmitter associated with pleasure and reward. This chemical reaction makes us feel good, encouraging us to check our phones repeatedly. This dopamine rush reinforces the habit of checking our phones, creating a cycle of distraction. Over time, this habit can become almost addictive, making it difficult to focus on other tasks. Each time we switch our attention between our phones and a task at hand, we experience what is known as a context switch. This constant switching can be mentally exhausting. This switching comes at a cognitive cost, reducing our overall productivity and increasing the likelihood of errors. The more we switch, the harder it becomes to maintain focus and complete tasks efficiently. The constant distractions also impair our ability to form deep, meaningful connections. When we are glued to our screens, we miss out on the nuances of face-to-face interactions. Instead of being fully present in conversations and interactions, we are often only half listening, our attention divided between the person in front of us and the device in our hands. This divided attention can lead to misunderstandings and weakened relationships. The human brain, for all its remarkable capabilities, is not designed for multitasking. When we try to do too many things at once, we end up doing none of them well. When we attempt to juggle multiple tasks simultaneously, we sacrifice both the quality and efficiency of our work. This can lead to increased stress and burnout over time. It's important to recognize the impact of our phone usage and take steps to manage it effectively. Attention erosion, the price of constant connectivity. The constant distractions of the digital age have a cumulative effect on our attention spans. Just as a muscle weakens without use, our ability to focus diminishes with constant interruptions. This attention erosion has far-reaching consequences. It affects our ability to learn, to think critically, and to engage in deep, meaningful conversations. In a world that increasingly demands our attention, we find ourselves struggling to concentrate, to stay present, and to fully engage with the world around us. This constant state of distraction not only impacts our cognitive abilities, but also takes a toll on our mental and emotional well-being. Section 4. The illusion of multitasking. Why our brains can't keep up. Our brains are not wired for multitasking. Despite the modern world's demands, our cognitive architecture remains largely unchanged from our ancestors. What we perceive as multitasking is actually rapid task switching, and this constant switching comes at a cost. Each time we switch tasks, our brain needs to refocus, which consumes time and energy. It reduces our productivity, increases errors, and impairs our ability to learn and retain information. Studies have shown that multitasking can lower IQ and even damage brain structure over time. When we try to do too many things at once, we end up doing none of them well. The brain's prefrontal cortex, responsible for decision-making and problem-solving, becomes overwhelmed. We sacrifice quality for quantity, and in the process, we erode our ability to focus on any one task for an extended period. This constant state of partial attention leads to chronic stress and burnout. The allure of multitasking is a mirage. It gives us the illusion of being productive, but in reality it scatters our focus and diminishes our efficiency. It promises efficiency, but delivers the opposite. The more we try to juggle, the more likely we are to drop the ball on important tasks. To truly excel in our work and our lives, we must embrace the power of single tasking, focusing on one task at a time and giving it our undivided attention. This approach not only enhances productivity, but also improves the quality of our work. This shift in mindset requires discipline and intentionality, but the rewards are well worth the effort. By prioritizing tasks and eliminating distractions, we can achieve a state of flow where we are fully immersed and highly productive. In the end, the key to keeping up in a fast-paced world is not to do more, but to do better. By focusing on one thing at a time, we can achieve greater success and satisfaction in all areas of our lives. Section 5. FOMO and social comparison, the downside of digital connection. While phones offer numerous benefits, they also contribute to feelings of inadequacy, anxiety, and social pressure. Social media, in particular, presents a curated version of reality, leading to social comparison and feelings of FOMO, or fear of missing out. The constant barrage of images and updates, often portraying an idealized version of life, can leave us feeling inadequate and dissatisfied with our own lives. This constant comparison can fuel anxiety, depression, and a sense of inadequacy. It is essential to remember that social media is a highlight reel, not a true reflection of reality. By being mindful of our social media consumption and curating our feeds to include positive and uplifting content, we can mitigate the negative impacts and use these platforms to foster connection and support.